So I called my dad on the way down here. Shout out Jan Bisping, by the way.
Hell yeah.
I spoke to my dad. I'm like, Dad, what did you think of the fights? And he said, oh, it was like two lovers having a tiff. that's word for word what he said. Here's what's going on, the psychology. A lot of the time, I believe, when they want to touch gloves before the start of a fight, it's because you're sending a message, hey, we're buddies, right? We're friends. Let's take it easy. The guy that initiates that, in my opinion, is like sending a subliminal message or showing a little bit of doubt.
He didn't believe himself so much, you know. If he could believe himself before the fight, like the earlier rounds, he could do better. But like he didn't do anything. He was just like thinking about defend the takedown. But he forgot that he's a striker. You gotta strike. You know how you gonna win. You just stay there like this and doing nothing. Like how you wanna win this fight.
Yeah, he started off really good with the fight, with faking that kick, like making Islam think, staying in the center in the beginning. But then it was just he waited too much for the little guy to get off, start exchanging, and then boom, Islam was on the legs, taking him down, wrapping him up, and then controlling him.
We planned on being active, putting pressure on him, and that didn't work out as well as we would have liked it to have been. But that a lot had to do with Ian Garry playing his game good too. And obviously you see Ian just usually run more than what he did. Not run, but he moves more. He wasn't running from us. He usually moves more. He didn't. He was right there. So that was a different strategy that he used also.
By being stationary, by being set that way, he allowed over and over again the same shoot to the same leg.
He was never able to flatten Ian out. He was never able to truly gain control. What he was able to do was take the back and ride him almost like a collegiate wrestler for the entirety of the first round. But he wasn't able to get him to go to his back. He wasn't able to secure dominant position. You could tell it was going to take a lot of energy for Islam to keep Ian Garry down.
By the way, in round one of this fight, for 4 minutes straight, Islam Makhachev held Ian Garry with a body lock against the cage and did fucking nothing.
The thing to me is when you get a guy with a body lock, so now my hands are occupied, right? I have to punch, I have to break it so that I can punch. But if my hands are there, I got nothing to punch with. So if I'm going to lock that up, what do they end up doing? Kneeing to the thigh, you know, or something similar like that.
He out-positioned him in round one and kneed him in the legs. That's a lot of damage. Look, Ian, Alien Enjoyer, please come to TriStar, okay? And we'll do this for fun. I'll hold you on the fence with a gut wrench, and I'll knee you in the legs just 3 times. Just 3. And you tell me, and you're going to be like defending as much as you can. I'll give you 3 of them. And you tell me, did it hurt? You're going to be like, oh man, I won't be able to walk tomorrow. Yeah, it really kills. It really hurts. It's damaging.
We know Ian can start fast. We know he can get a grip of fights early on and bully his opponents and get ahead on the scorecards. We know Ian can do that because we've seen him do it. But why doesn't he do it in the 2 fights where he's the underdog? The 2 fights where he comes in and, maybe it's too much too soon for him. He's never going to beat this guy. And it's that acceptance maybe from Ian.
So my point is, he dealt with the takedown of Islam Makhachev pretty well. Throw the kitchen sink at the guy. Because that's what you're really... The only reason you want to throw is you're worried about takedown. Well, he showed already this defense was pretty good. His scrambling was all right. He wasn't getting owned. It's not going to get worse because you're trying really hard to knock the guy out and he takes you down. Okay, well, you're getting taken down anyway. And you're scrambling pretty well, so F it. Throw the kitchen sink.
I like to think, like, you know, hang around every 4 seconds move, every 3 seconds shift, depending on the opponent. But yeah, there was a bit where he was staying there waiting for, and he's probing and stuff.
Yep.
But then he was waiting for Islam to make a mistake. And maybe that's what cost him in round 2.
I thought Islam fought a really controlled and smart fight. I thought that, the second round, really was impressive. And I always say, people don't give Islam enough credit for his stand-up. You know, he's got good stand-up. He doesn't, you know, he very seldom overextends and reaches. Sometimes he'll do things and he'll pull his chin back at times and a little bit up, and you go, you know, don't do that. But he is so complete now as the fighter.
In one moment in round 2, Islam Makhachev landed this head kick on Ian Garry. It landed with the toes. It was on the break from the clinch, and he threw a punch, and then Ian Garry moved away from the punch with his hands by his waist, and Makhachev threw up a head kick, and it caught Ian Garry.
My reaction was fantastic kick. You know, we didn't plan that per se. That's what he does in training. So it wasn't like we planned that kick. Like the last time, when he did with Volk, that was the plan by Magomed, the head coach at Makhachev. He said, "Coach, we're going to go to the body, then we're going to go to the head. What do you think?" Good. We'll do that. So yeah, but this one wasn't planned. This one is something that he does in training anyways. So he's just so well-rounded. You know, he can do it all. That's what I'm always trying to say about Islam. He can do it all. So it wasn't a planned thing, but it was part of what he does.
Off there. First of all, I said it was impossible for Islam to land a head kick on Ian Garry. I was wrong. He head kicked him right in the lips. He toad punched his mouth box and got him wobble-legged. Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov, second round. The Dagestan, the wrestler, the grappler, dropped the Irish striker. History repeated itself there. That was pretty crazy. Second round. That's what's so dangerous about these guys that can grapple so well. That they really have that ability to get these strikers off a little bit.
But fuck, that was around 2 when they sent him on ice skates, bro. That was when I felt it through my body, like nervous system was like, what the fuck? And I think when he had a high crotch at one point, it almost spiked him. But that head kick, I can't remember how he set it up. It was off the fence, coming off. Then it was off the left hand as well, just effortless. Yeah. And good for Ian to recover, stay composed, and not get finished, because most men would have got finished in that point.
Yeah,
especially when you get hurt like that as well.
I mean, if that would have hit Ian Garry right here on the shin, it would have been curtains, boy, curtains. But remember, he's 6'3", he's 5'10". He's fighting up. So everything is different, right? When I fight guys who are 5'10" and I throw a high kick, they're getting the very end of my extremity. When I fight a guy who's 5'3" and I throw a high kick, I can get way more power into my kick. So beautiful tactic for Islam, man.
He happy I don't have big leg, you know. I just catch him with my fingers, and it's a good shot, you know. After that, I try to land it some punch, go crazy, you know, don't control my emotion, and almost finish him.
Guys, don't forget, I told you, don't sleep on Makhachev's power. In my pre-fight analysis, I said the number one thing he's most underestimated for is his power. Islam Makhachev has striking power greater than Ian Garry. We all forget. And then he drops Ian Garry, and Ian Garry's in big trouble, and then Islam takes him down with a headlock throw.
Dude, how about that fucking head toss in motion? What was that, round number 2? And then getting into Scarfold, and you could see that he was looking to set up that armbar from Scarfold. Credit to Ian Garry for, again, defending himself in that way. He was able to pass, by the way, Ian Garry's guard like it was fucking nothing.
I say it all the time. Every interaction I've had with Ian Garry, he's a nice guy. And he showed up and he pushed Islam and he made it a competitive fight. However, he surprised me in a lot of ways. He didn't move. He wasn't on his bike. He didn't utilize footwork. He didn't fight like he normally fights. He stood right in front of him with his arm reached out and just waited. And he didn't really do enough.
And this is basically how the end of the second round was, just Islam in control after getting the knockdown. Easy round for him. Round 3 really pissed me off, right? You can see we're at 2 minutes in roughly here before we actually even start seeing any strikes. Ian Garry at 2 rounds down, spent the first 2 minutes of the third round. He barely threw a fucking strike. What the fuck's going through his head? I don't, this is what we're talking about, elite mentality, championship mentality. Like at that point, panic stations, I need to fucking claw this back and I need to make a statement. And I think the thing that never goes through Ian Garry's head, you know, is I want to hurt you and damage you.
The body kick was landing, but he wasn't really throwing the right hand at all. I think he just needed to let it go more, right, to try to find more openings. But Islam's very good defensively. He's good at even managing his own distance and backing out, and then or shooting under your shot. I think that's why Ian was very hesitant to throw his right hand when it's southpaw against orthodox. Throwing that right hand leaves the opening for the takedown.
So what I loved, which we seen actually Conor do against Khabib in the first fight, when he got on that high crotch, taking the corner and looking to take the back.
Trying to butt drag.
Yeah. So for like
This
people,
Yeah.
wow. I kind of want to, we were talking about in the back, I almost want to show people what he was doing because it was really beautiful. Like when a guy gets on a high crotch, the number one technique that they're going to want to do is to go to a double. But if you stop that double by blocking the elbow, which he was doing, so he's over the head, blocking the elbow, now you could get outside, push his head down and get outside his shoulder and now start taking the back, like hook his leg and take the back, which he did great here. Yeah.
And there was, the one time that, Islam he's on top and Ian slips the shoulder, boom, now that's your control time, 34 seconds or whatever it was. But it was beautifully done. And that's those little things that seem like, oh, well, that was neat. That was not only thought of in the moment as he's feeling it. He's practiced that because he was told, hey, he does this. This is what we can do to try to counter it. This is what we're going to do. It's going to put us here. And so I really enjoyed the fight.
So when Islam Makhachev missed that takedown, there's a difference, right? Like when Khamzat Chimaev.
This is the one in the third round, you mean?
The third round, yeah. But there's a difference. When Khamzat Chimaev missed his takedown against Sean Strickland pressed him. Sean Strickland went after him. Sean Strickland takes risks, right? Where Ian Garry isn't that athlete, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I wasn't worried when he missed that takedown. And I was like, he's not going to go forward. He's not going to change his fighting style in order to penalize Islam Makhachev for missing the takedown.
We used to talk about Khabib when Khabib was at the top of his game. Daniel Cormier used to say, you can kind of wrestle hard for 2 rounds before you got to take a round off. And we saw it play out like this in the third round. Ian gets back into it.
He got back to being the Garry that had a chance. He was loose, he was athletic, he was throwing kicks, he was mixing it up, he was moving. He was moving his feet. He wasn't standing straight in front of the guy. No angles. Straight in front of the guy where a great grappler could take you down. You don't give him what he needs. I mean, that's like if you got somebody with an airplane. You don't give him a runway if you don't want the airplane to take off. You just don't give him a runway. You say, no, there's no runway here. I'm sorry. Only my front lawn. Yeah, well, that's not enough room for me to take off and to get airborne.
So they kind of negated each other. Like I've been telling Islam, go. The body's open. And Islam wouldn't throw something because I think he was wary of, not worried, but aware that the counter was coming behind that. Same thing for Garry. I don't think Garry, because mostly Gary's a, counter striker more than anything. So he basically was waiting for us, but Islam was waiting for him sometimes because, of the countering that Garry does. So that kind of made it for a little bit lackluster fight at some points.
And then even though Ian Garry did take advantage of that body kick from Southpaw the Orthodox, those were great kicks. But the thing, I think with the orientation how it is, he's not hitting Islam Makhachev's, he's not hitting his liver because Islam Southpaw, my liver is right here. Yeah, my liver's here. So I
noticed that too.
He's black.
Open stance.
Exactly. So he's hitting, I don't know what fucking organs over here, but it's not the liver. So it doesn't really do as much.
Pancreas?
Yeah.
And honestly, the kick which he tried to do, it's not bother me. On the camp, we're working a lot on that because he can give me injured by that. But in this fight, I don't feel any kicks from him. He landed couple body kicks, also not hurt me, but he landed couple good.
Ian Garry's got that long arm in Islam Makhachev's face, and he starts landing oblique kicks, powerful oblique kicks that if they landed just right, can break the knee of Islam Makhachev. They didn't. Was grazed by those kicks, but they were very threatening. The real kicks that did the damage was those body kicks. Ian Garry hammered about 2 or 3 body kicks and a couple of straights down the pipe and some beautiful jabs. Islam lost round 3. I had Ian up in round 3.
even in that round 3, when it was clear that Islam was trying to get a second wind, Ian didn't really put 3s and 4s together. He didn't look to really impose himself and capitalize on it. But that mentality of Islam, where there's no sacrifice, there's no quit, there's no acceptance this fight might go away. They lose the 3rd round, go back to the corner, Khabib tears him a new one. Khabib's like, do not lose the next round, because then you're giving the judges a conversation. Then you're giving them something to think about. Do not lose the next round. Go out there, be more aggressive, put your foot down.
It is funny. Islam does have, like, this is going to sound offensive, like dumb face. Like he always is in the corner, like always, like wide-eyed, mouth open, like he always looks like that. No matter how the fight's going, that's just his resting face. Like my wife has resting bitch face. That's resting Islam face. It just looks like nothing's going on.
When Islam seemed to hit a little bit of a wall with his physicality and had to get through it, Ian capitalized on it. Ian could see it. But then when round 4 started, he kind of backed off a little bit again.
Islam he's going after him as far as a grappler. But for you to do something in the grappling aspect to gain some type of advantage, you have to get an advantage. Just getting behind someone is not enough of an advantage. It is if now you're striking, but Islam wasn't doing that. And so Islam, he got one good dump, but it wasn't hard because Ian was able to put his hands down. So you got that nice dump, but he'd been kicked earlier on in the 4th round, and there was a good kick to the body by Ian. And then Ian's just doing a lot of little shots that, are just adding up, where Islam is not throwing anything at this point.
I mean, the 4th round was interesting. Islam had him up against the fence for a long time. Ian was damaging him. He was hitting him with his knuckles, boom, 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 landing damaging shots, while Islam was literally just holding him.
He gave me like too many scratches, He gave me like very hard headbutt end of the 4th round. When I make him slam, you can see he gave me like back headbutt, and I feel that moment in the fight, I don't remember when my nose bleeding, and right away the blood is coming out, and I thought maybe I broke the nose or something's happened,
Yeah, if I was scoring it, I'd give it to the guy that was attacking, even though Islam is attacking with wrestling. Ian was against the fence, still throwing shots, and they were effective. I said my UFC debut, I can't remember how I figured it out. I did the same thing when he held me against the fence and I couldn't move. Pop, 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 and you just, especially on white skin as well, you can get, marks, get them looking more. It's good for the optics of the judges, because if you get them looking bruised.
Despite how well Machado Garry did, there were critical mistakes, even in round 4, which would have, in my mind, made it 2-2 going into the 5th, right?
Yeah.
He chose to strike in one critical moment, couple ground strikes, when the focus had to be anything but that, to try to get back up into the long-range weaponry.
So in my opinion, Islam kind of ran away with it, and not by a landslide. It was still relatively close, but there was one thing to score, and it was control time. And Islam was the guy who was in the driver's seat with that.
It is close. It's a super close, and I can understand, they're saying, look, he had multiple takedowns, but a takedown is nothing more than a positional change if you do nothing with it. You've got to do something with it. Now, if he had that, when he picked him up and he had a good slam off of it, that's doing something with the takedown that's creating some type of damage to him, or, diminishing him a little bit. But there wasn't that in the round. So I gave that to Ian Garry. So I had it even going into the 5th round.
I feel I won the 3 rounds, before the last round, but Khabib and all corners say you have to win the last round. And on the last round, I feel I can take him down, do something more, because this 3rd and 4th round not like very tough, and I have like power to finish, to show the good performance end of the fight,
we need to take this 5th round. We need this 5th round. So I was saying, use your strikes for the takedown. And Khabib was speaking to him in Russian. So it was the same idea. We wanted to take him down. Khabib didn't deviate from the plan, nor did I. We were on the right track all the way through. It's just that Ian Garry is just a tough opponent.
I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, Ian hugged and embraced Islam more in those 25 minutes than I do with my wife after a long road trip. Like, what is going on here, bro?
And Ian started off great. I think he won the first part of that 5th round. He won the early parts in that 5th round. When he was assertive and he was throwing his strikes, he had some success.
In those moments, those dark times where you're unsure and you have to go and get something done, Islam showed and proved once again that he's able to get something done. He did that. He won the 5th round. He won the 5th round in dominant fashion. It was the first time that he was able to secure Ian Garry and control him with back control. He got a body triangle and he rode him the entire time.
Look, at the end, it was Ian Garry breaking. From what? From all that squeezing, all that time at the bottom, all that time that Islam was grabbing onto him. He was breaking him. Islam was breaking him. You have to factor that in. What happened in round 5 was a culmination of what happens in rounds 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4 set up what happened in round 5. What he did throughout the fight got him the closest to finishing, which tells me it was probably more effective what he did.
Every time Ian did something good to, counter what Islam was doing, Islam then recountered and created a problem for him. And that's just called championship fighting. That's top tier, top of the food chain. That's why Islam is the guy that he is right now, as the pound for pound best guy. He has that ability.
I think he did well though, with the way he negated a lot of Islam's attacks. Like again, the 5th round, he was on the back, and then when he got the body triangle,
yeah, he was fucked.
I was like, yeah, fuck. Okay, this is going to be really difficult. Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Ian to squeeze out of, because again, they're boys.
Like I said, I think it was more so being happy with defending the takedown, being happy with not getting subbed or getting out of those grappling situations. Like we did it, right? We survived. When I felt like it should have been more trying to press forward, especially in the later rounds, trying to attack more.
I think people were like, there were some people saying like, oh, look how banged up Islam was. Well, Islam kind of gets banged up in a lot of his fights. There's some fights he goes out and steamrolls guys, but let's not forget, Dustin Poirier gave him all he could handle across almost a full 25 minutes, so it's not off-putting to me that this fight was tougher for him than maybe he anticipated. But Islam, as dominant as he is in the win department, he still has to go through some adversity in some of these fights and take some damage to get his hand raised.
That was one of our tougher, if not probably the toughest fight. One of our definitely him and Volk were probably the either it's 1-2, Volk being the tougher, or Garry. I'm gonna go Garry, because with Volk it was due to only one round. But Garry, he was tough all the way through. So I'm gonna say he was from my perspective, not Islam's, my perspective, I say he was our toughest challenge.
And then you look at Ian Garry and how fresh he looked. And that for me was the bit. You go, Ian, man, leave it in there. You shouldn't end the championship fight with gas left in the tank. And he spent a large portion at the end. I'm being harsh here. He spent a large portion of that final round with Islam on his back, with his hooks in. But if you've got some energy left, you got to explode out like you did early on. Explode out to that moment. You got to get the fight back to the feet.
When you're going against these guys like Khabib and Islam and Umar and just guys from that team, that part of the world, like one training camp to try to fill the gap in something that they've done their entire life is not enough time. It's going to take somebody of their equal
But if you've ever watched Ian Garry's fights, at the very end, win or lose, he tries to grab the guy by the wrist and pull him down to his knees to like bow like Thai style guys. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not kneeling down on the ground with you. I just fucking fought you for 25 minutes. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, when he goes up to Habib and I've never seen somebody give a pep talk to someone that just beat them, man. Like he was like literally like giving Habib a pep talk. Like, hey man, be proud of this guy. Like, what? Like, hey, you know, you guys have really accomplished something here. It's like, yeah, they know, Ian. Like, you don't need to go tell them and pat them on the back for beating you. I just thought it was weird, man.
He is a younger guy. It's his first time in a title shot. I think it's something that Ian will regret. I think Ian's probably going to sleep really well tonight and tomorrow, and about 2 weeks are going to go by, and he's going to look back and go, I wish I would have believed in myself more.